Hello and welcome. I'm Nicole Garten. Conflict is one of the most pervasive features of human interaction. Whether in families, workplaces, or organizations, conflict drains energy, erodes trust, and if left unchecked, fractures relationships. But conflict is not inherently destructive. When it is understood and managed well, conflict can become a catalyst for growth, clarity, and innovation. Today, I'm going to share a structured way to diagnose and resolve conflict, drawing from both practical experience from many years of practicing law and well-established conflict resolution models. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to recognize where conflict comes from, understand how it escalates, and apply strategies to address it effectively. Conflict is inevitable whenever human beings come together. We have divergent goals, values, personalities, and histories. Psychologists and organizational theorists remind us that conflict arises not often from malice, but just from misaligned expectations or poorly designed systems. Christopher Moore, in his Circle of Conflict, highlights common sources: relationships, data, interests, values, and structural causes. These 5 categories account for the majority of the disputes we discover. For example, a workplace clash might look like a personality problem, but at its root, it could just be unclear roles, a structural issue. A family inheritance dispute may appear to be about money, but underneath it's actually unresolved grief or old resentments. It's a relationship issue. Recognizing the inevitability of conflict liberates us from shame. The question is not, how do I avoid conflict, but how do I respond constructively when conflict arises? Over the years, I've developed a 3-stage framework to navigate conflict systematically. Number 1, conflict prevention, putting proactive structures in place to prevent conflict before it starts. Number 2, when conflict inevitably arises, do correct analysis. Diagnose the underlying causes, not just the surface dispute. And number 3, conflict resolution and management, applying deliberate, effective interventions to restore balance. This mirrors much of the established scholarship in dispute resolution, from Deutsch's theories on constructive versus destructive conflict to William Urey's getting to yes without compromising relationships. Conflict prevention. The most effective way to handle conflict is try to reduce the likelihood of destructive conflict before it even begins. Prevention doesn't eliminate disagreement, it channels it. Key strategies in prevention. Number 1, clarity of roles. Ambiguity breeds resentment. Establish clear expectations so responsibilities are not contested later. Number 2, governance structures. In families, this may mean written agreements. In business, it may mean formalized boards or standing committees. And number 3, communication norms. Decide in advance issues that will be raised. Will there be regular check-ins, anonymous feedback, structured family meetings? Now let's talk about theory. The Thomas Kilmann conflict mode instrument identifies 5 conflict handling styles: competing, avoiding, accommodating, compromising, and collaborating. By discussing preferences openly before tensions emerge, families or organizations can agree to privilege collaboration over avoidance, or at least become aware of their default tendencies. Imagine 2 siblings are destined to co-manage a family property. If nothing is clarified, disagreements about expenses or scheduling can explode. If, however, they create a written schedule and a financial plan in advance, the conflict is not prevented entirely, but it's managed with agreed-upon boundaries. Prevention is not about silencing conflict, but building resilience into the system. Conflict analysis. When conflict does arise, the most common mistake is to react to the symptom instead of addressing the underlying reason. There are some models that can help you. Moore's Circle of Conflict. He discusses relationship, data, interests, values, and structure. Which is it that's really going on? In Glassey's model of escalation, conflict moves through 9 stages, from mild tension to total polarization. Early intervention is critical because once a conflict escalates to demonization, resolution becomes exponentially harder. Fisher and Urey's principled negotiation. Separate people from the problem, focus on interests rather than their positions, and invent options for mutual gain. Practical diagnosis. Ask yourself, what is this conflict really about? What unspoken needs or fears are hiding beneath the surface? Has the conflict already escalated into personal attacks, or is it still about the problem? So here's an example. Two business partners may argue intensely about whether to reinvest profits or take distributions. The surface issue is financial, but underneath, one may feel their personal sacrifices have gone unnoticed, while the other fears financial insecurity at home. Unless those underlying interests are acknowledged, no purely financial compromise will work. Analysis requires patience, empathy, and often a neutral third party who can see patterns that participants cannot. Conflict resolution and management. Once we've diagnosed the true sources of conflict, we can design interventions. Here are some resolution strategies. Facilitated dialogue. A mediator or trusted facilitator helps the participants express themselves without escalation. Structural adjustments. If governance or roles are unclear, re-engineer the system. Revise agreements, redistribute responsibilities, or adjust compensation. Reframing. Shift the narrative from adversarial to cooperative. Instead of me versus you, reframe the question as, how can we solve this problem together? Following Fisher and Urey, look beyond positions to identify underlying interests. Two siblings fighting about selling a cottage might discover one values financial liquidity while the other values sentimental connection. With creativity, both needs can often be met. Morton Deutsch distinguished between constructive conflict, which improves relationships, and destructive conflict, which entrenches hostility. The difference lies in process. Constructive conflict attends to relationships, emotion, and fairness, while destructive conflict attends to a win-lose. Resolution is not about one side winning. It's about dignity, protecting relationships, and ensuring a sustainable path forward. When we integrate the conflict resolution models, we can see a coherent approach. Use prevention to reduce unnecessary disputes. Apply Moore's circle and Glassey's escalation model to diagnose sources and the stages of conflict. Employ principled negotiation and conflict-style awareness to design effective resolutions. Conflict, when treated systematically, ceases to be chaos. It becomes a crucible where resilience, transparency, and trust are forged. Here's the essential truth. Conflict is unavoidable, but devastation is not. With foresight, careful diagnosis, and principled resolution, conflict can be transformed from a destructive force to an opportunity for growth. If you found this exploration helpful, please subscribe to this channel for more conversations about legacy, leadership, and navigating life's most complex challenges. And let us know in the comments, what is one conflict in your life that might be reimagined as an opportunity for transformation? Thank you for joining us.